Hi. Um, I'm just editing the video for my Patreon, the last one for this week. Me reading the Tyndale phonetically. And tomorrow I'm going to be streaming, recording. Hopefully it'll work properly. The next Tomes of Time. The first of the new year. It's a new year. It's 2023. Um, I don't really have a resolution for this year. Um, um, I put a lot on my plate. I do this a lot. Um, I want I want to do things. I want to do the things I'm doing here. I want to do this. I want to do Tomes of Time. I want to do this little behind the scenes video that'll get to you on YouTube, where I talk about what's going on behind the scenes. I've always wanted to make content. At the same time, I'm incredibly scared of failure. There's a lot of stories that have my name on them that have never seen the light of day, and that gets to me. And when I say I'm going to do something, when I say, hey, I'm going to put out these videos this week, I want to do that. I feel obligated to actually do that, and I feel like that's supposed to help reciprocal motivation. I have a hard time getting things out. You know, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm ultimately trying to say here. I hiatused my podcast. I did the podcast for 2 years. Didn't miss. I didn't miss a day. Um, there's one I had to release a week later. I did it the day. Somehow it just didn't. I didn't actually hit the publish. I still did it. I still kept to. I will make a new podcast every Friday. I gave myself a break for 2 weeks. I gave myself a break. I didn't get lazy. I didn't forget to. I gave myself a break. And I'm happy that I got to give you one full, proper season. 2 years worth of Fridays of content. It stands as a monument to myself when I have a mountain of unfinished projects. It stands as a monument to myself to say, I can do this. I can finish something I've started. I can see something through. That's why everything that I work on, that I finish and I get to upload, is important to me. It is meaningful to me. When I do my short films and I edit them and I release them, when I do my videos, it is meaningful to me to be able to present you with a finished work, with a finished product, with something that I've labored over, that I've put my creative energy into, my personality into, my care, who I am into. And that's one of the things that I ultimately love about Tomes of Time, doing Dungeons and Dragons in general, is I can put myself into that in a very deep and true and rich sense. When you watch, say, Tales of the Aesir, you're seeing me play a Cher. You're seeing a clown house mirror reflection of who I am through this character. You see the aspects of me that have been deeply impacted by the war films I was raised, the war films and the war games I was raised with, and my processing of what it would be like, what I think someone would be like coming out of those kinds of scenarios. Specifically Vietnam. Watch the movie We Were Soldiers. What would, or The Thin Red Line, what would someone be like coming out of the trauma and being forced to witness or even almost take part in actual war crimes? And how do they process that? How do they deal with that? How does someone deal with going their whole life, being indebted to one ideal and then slowly realizing that that ideal is flawed and twisted and they need to correct it? And you get to see my processing in that in Journey Through Miro, with my characterization of Yip Yap No Tail. You get to see the more optimistic side of me, whereas the Cher's maybe more pessimistic. I don't know. It's my characters, I think, are me painting aspects of myself with a broad brush. If I put my raw aspects of myself on a palette and took a big paintbrush and just not as intricate and finite and even in their proper places that they are inside of me, but the colors you're seeing are aspects of myself and the brush strokes of who I am. And I love being a DM where I'm playing out my world and I'm getting to have a very real... I've always liked storytelling, and with Dungeons and Dragons I get to communicate the story that I want to tell in a way where it's so much more impactful and involved for the players than if I was just telling someone a story. For me, it harkens back to when I was a kid, and my father would, my mother would read books. Those would be the hard line, this is the story. And my father would sometimes tell me mutable stories. He'd tell me stories that I could actually contribute to. And we had fun with that. I had fun. And I think that's truly part of why, for me, that form of storytelling connects to me on such a natural level. And I've always loved improv. I love the whole idea of yes and It's part of why I'm not the strictest DM, is because storytelling in the tabletop should be, it needs to be give and take. It needs to be organic. It can't be, your players are not going to have fun constantly running into a brick wall. But your players are going to have fun with logical, reasonable challenges that, if they succeed, they are rewarded with. Your players are going to have fun with funny characters, rather than consistently jerkish characters, or hard to read characters, or characters that don't even want to interact with the party. You can have characters from all different places. You can have characters that are snooty. You can have characters that don't want to interact with the party. But when that is the entirety of what your party interacts with, it's not fun for them, and it wouldn't be fun for me. I love storytelling. And in the fullest sense of what I was talking about earlier, it's the ultimate thing of keeping me honest, because if I slack off, what are my players going to say? They're going to have an issue with things. And that's not what I want. I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want there to be issues in the future of organizing things with them. So it keeps me, I've got to do this. I've got to prepare. I had to prepare things for this week because I didn't have them ready, and there was very specific things I wanted to do, and I had to problem solve. There were limitations. Spoiler, we're gonna have a new player. But he can't play this week. So we got the character worked out and all of that. And so yeah, I had to get that ready, and I had another player won't be there tomorrow. And yet tomorrow is a pivotal day. It's a pivotal episode. I don't want to put it off because it's been long enough. The last 2 months, we've had practically no games. I don't like that. I've been wanting to do it as much as possible, but that's just not how life works. But and I've had to just in general figure out what's happening tomorrow, and is it going to be up to the runtime that I want it to be. And it's like, even being 12 or more sessions charted out from here, I'm still finding that there's planning that has to be done. There's work that I need to do, and it's like, I'm not sure what to say. Then I'm gonna record that. I've got to edit it and get it out. On top of what I'm gonna have next week for Patreon. The indie stream is free, or the Needy Game, free to watch. It's on my YouTube. My YouTube's free to watch. Words. I want to put my best foot forward from the get-go. I want, as quickly as possible, to be producing the level of content that I want to be, the quality of content that I want to be producing if things get going and I get everything that I need and want to be doing what I want. Not that it's a disservice when people come from humble beginnings. Of course, I come from humble beginnings. Look at my videos. Go watch the very first video on this channel. My voice alone has come so far. But I want to give you my best, dear viewer, because I want to, if I want you to support me, if I'm going to ask for you to support me, if I'm going to say, hey, I have a Patreon where I'm asking for money monthly, I want the content you interact with to be worthy of going over and saying, hey, I'll give you $5 a month. Hey, I'll give you $10 a month. It would just be ridiculous if that wasn't the case. There's plenty of people who make money doing their bare minimum. I don't want to do that. I want to give you something worth watching, worth interacting with. Right. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe I just want to say stuff. And what I'm truly trying to say, I guess I can leave that up to you. Because what is art? What is the end result of an author other than someone else coming up with their own meaning for what they had to say? I suppose that's a epitaph that an author should be happy with. That at the end of the day, whether they're interpreted correctly or not, we made someone think. I think I'm good with that. So, until we meet again, have a good day, night, whenever, wherever you are. And God bless.